Hello and welcome. This is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina program, and today's fly is the Renegade. So let's get started. We're using a size 16 hook. It's an Umpqua dry fly, size 16, TMC 900 BL. The thread we're using is uni thread, 6/0, color black. For the tag in, the tail, we're going to be using Tinsel, Opal Tinsel, size medium. For the body, we're going to be using Peacock Hurl. And we're going to be using 2 strands of that. And then for the hackle, front and back, the back hackle is fiery brown cock feathers. And then the front hackle is white cock neck feathers. Okay, so let's get started. We want to start the thread about an eye length behind the eye. And we want to remove the tag in. And this is where we want to start our Mirage tinsel. I like to start it up a little bit so we can actually secure this to the shank. And just make sure it's nice and sturdy and not going anywhere. That looks about good. And so we're going to bring it all the way back to just before the bend of the hook. And that's where I want. Okay. So then we're just going to take this and get it out of the way, get our thread out of the way. And so what we're doing is we're going to take this and we're going to put 3 to 4 wraps in it to create a little hot spot on the back of it. So yep, we did 3 wraps, and then we're going to bring it back up to where we can tie it in. Okay, and we're doing overlapping wraps. And I want to do one more to where I can actually sink it in. That's no good. Maybe we can capture it before it decides to unravel onto me. Oh, we caught it. Okay. That worked out just fine. Okay, so we still have our hot spot, and I'll just cover that up. So now what we want to do is we want to start in with our fiery brown hackle. And what we want this just a little bit, the fibers to be just a little bit past the hook point. So we're going to drag the feathers down, which ones we want to capture, and that's what I want right there. And this doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and I like just to do a little bit because a lot of this feather can be reused. So with the veterans program, I try to save as much material as possible. I'm going to put a couple wraps in it. Okay, let's remove the excess. And like I said, I like to keep this because you never know when it's going to come in handy. So I just find a nice little bin to throw it in, and hopefully one day I'll have a purpose for it. Okay, so we're going to bring this up and secure it down a little bit more, and we're going to bring our thread forward. So now what we want to do is we want to get our hackle pliers. I know I said I usually don't use these things. I don't like to use them. But I found that in this instance, it was necessary. So if you got the tools, use them. So what we want to do here is we just want to do touching wraps. And then what we're doing is we're bringing our fibers back where we can get a nice little hackle. Whoops, let's get this recaptured. It came undone on me. Starting to move. Okay, recaptured. Okay, so it moved a bunch. So So there we go. Alright, then what we want to do is we want to keep it right where we ended our thread in the back. So let's move this back, okay. And we want to do 3 to 4. So it looks like I'm going to be able to get 4 out of this, so we're going to do 4. Push these fibers back. Okay. And that's good. And just take your time. Messing with the hackle and hackle pliers tends to get to be a pain sometimes. So I just want to put 2 good wraps on this. And don't worry about capturing excess fibers. We're just going to either cover it up with the Peacock Hurl or cut them up like that. And those strands that are underneath look like they are infringing on the eye a little bit, so we do want to remove those. Okay, good to go. So now what we want to do is we want to grab our strands of Peacock Hurl. And like I said, I'm only using 2. And we want to make sure that they're even. Oops, make sure you guys can see. Okay, and they're even. So we can go ahead and sink these in like so. And what we want to do is we want to bring them back to where the hackle ends. And just keep on bringing the wraps back, and it looks like I'm there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our thread forward, and then if we see the extra fibers from the back hackle, we can hack them off. So essentially now what we're doing is we're just bringing our Peacock forward. And you want kind of an even body, like so. Just take your time. This stuff is brittle. And that's about good right there. So we're going to put 2 wraps in it. Alright. Secure. Oh, there's more than 2 wraps. I like to do 2 wraps and then secure it a little better after I trim this stuff off. So now we're just going to sink all this stuff down, and we're going to bring it back. It's looking pretty good. Now what we want to do is we want to grab our white hackle, and we kind of want to match it up with the size of the fibers that we have in the back. And that, I think, is it right there. Okay. So we're going to strip it. Okay. Looks like it knotted up on me. Okay. So there we go. Sink down. Let's go ahead and remove the stem. It looks like it got a little white fiber caught in that as well. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. And let's go ahead and sink this down. Not too much because we don't want to infringe on the eye. So let's just take it. And I think I got a long enough feather here that I can actually do this by hand and don't have to use the pliers. So we're just going to do 4 wraps. Like I said, we want to match the back. Or you could just do it by eye too. If it looks like it's got enough, essentially you just want to match the back. And it looks like I'm going to get away with 3 on this one. Okay. Oops. Hate when that happens. Just take your time. Okay. And now it looks like I got it. And 2 to 3 wraps. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to remove that and remove the excess. Be careful not to cut your thread. Okay, so now what we want to do is grab these fibers and kind of bring them back to where we can build up a head. And it looks like we're going to have to manipulate this a little bit. Messing with these small hooks is very challenging. I know it looks big to you, but it's not. Okay, so I'm going to have to cut that out. And let's go ahead and put a whip finish in this before we lose our work. Four, good to go. And now what we want to do is kind of clean this up a little bit. Okay. And that looks like it's going to catch fish. I'm not an artist, I'm just trying to catch fish. And there we go. And you can trim it up as much as you want. And there we go. We have the Renegade. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. And we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Again, this is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina program. And today's fly was the Renegade. And we thank you very much for watching.